Here I should have like music behind me. I usually stop jumping before the episode comes live, but I realized as I was doing this, I was like, oh, I'm like keeping a big part of what allows this thing to start off with energy from all of y'all. So I wanted to share it this time. My name is Niiamah Shang. Thanks so much for being here. We're on on an Outliers Edge roundtable where we bring on extraordinary leaders to see how they continue to build their success and their impact out in the world in a way that's in alignment with them. Today we have none other than Tanja Bogataj. Tanya, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for playing the outlier game. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and good today to everyone being with us today.
Yes. It is going to be a good day. I like that, Tanya. So,
Yeah.
Tanya, we're going to start off here. I like to ask everyone when they come in here to tell us, to help us get to know you. So, would you mind sharing more about you and the game that you're currently playing out in the world?
Thank you. I mean, it's a tough question to kick it off, right?
Yeah.
Um, sure.
I do tough. Like I know you're a coach, so we do tough questions. So I'm
Of
I'm good
course,
with that.
yeah. And also to show up how we guide clients, right? To
Yeah.
show up. So I like that. Yeah, my name is Tanya. I'm last 8 years serving as leadership executive and team coach, consultant, educator. Before I did almost 20 years within the government of Slovenia in different portfolios and different roles. Among those, also many managerial leadership roles. And at that point, it was one point that I knew I want to serve from outside, support those who are within big corporate organizations or entrepreneurs on their journeys, and help them with their leadership skills, help them on their development journey, but mainly help them how to I call it be powerful and free while they are making difference. So usually not when everything is super easy and great and like we want it, and how to be empowered for the desired impact in that moment in time, and do that on their own for themselves, but also with those that they lead, influence, and impact. So this is something that really inspires me, empowers me, and keeps me going. And the game I play, I would say, being powerful and free while making a difference. And it's about staying on journey, staying sincere with myself, honest with myself, how I'm transforming, and learning along the way, growing through it, and with that also accepting the reality, I would say. And when I need to pivot either to different projects or also
Yeah, Tanya, we just lost you just a little bit in terms of the
operators,
audio.
and learning what's next.
Tanya, I apologize. I'm interrupting, but we lost you just a bit because you were talking about like, hey, when you needed to pivot, and then it cut out a little bit here. Would you mind letting us know, like I want to make sure we're back in with you, but like you're talking about when you needed to pivot. I want to make sure we capture that.
Okay, yeah. So it was just the vulnerability also on my own journey,
Mhm.
and this is also something that helps me on the coaching path, how to guide leaders and their teams when it's time to pivot, when to accept the reality that what brought us here doesn't work anymore, and what we're taking further on, and how to, in a way, fuel the vision ahead and who we need to become to achieve the goal ahead. So
Yeah,
this is the game I play with myself, for myself, but also those that I can serve in different roles and capacities.
I love this. Like allies, like I want you to notice right away. Like this is what's striking me about you, Tanya. You're someone who walks your talk, right? And I think that that's really important. I talk to a lot of people. A number of them are coaches, and they'll spend the time talking about like just the work that they do, but like without them actually like bringing in how like the vulnerability of like, and you are still doing that work. Right,
Mm.
like the leadership game, the game of growth, the game of I love this being powerful and free like that right there, just so you know, Tanya, like that felt like it is yours and yours alone. Like I was like, oh, I want to use that, but I'm like, no, that's Tanya's. Like she like that is not something that everyone does, right? And I see that. I want to just start off this thing with acknowledgement here because we were talking earlier about like the coaching industry, and there's a lot of different people out there who are also coaches, but I think that like it goes beyond like the actual like questions asked or the skill there, but it's like the person who you're with And what I get, Tanya, is
Mm.
that you've gone not just gone through the journey, but you refuse to get off the journey, and you're like you're going to keep growing in ways that are going to like help your clients exponentially because you
Mm.
keep growing exponentially. Let me just get your quick thoughts on that, like as I reflect that. But that came really clear to me as you were introducing yourself.
Thank you so much. I mean, it also with people that you work with, right? Environment that you engage with, it does reflect who we are,
Mhm.
who we are becoming through this journey, and also on those moments where you do need to maybe pull away a little bit and then come back stronger and keep serving. So indeed, yeah, I think this is pulling me back and keep going and figure it out what's the better way to
Yeah.
move on. And with that, I think it's a lot of creativity needed, a lot of determination, and what the freedom really is, right? And how we are using it. And with that, how we use this power that we all inherently have. And we can develop it further, nurture it, and use it for the good.
Let's play a little bit here because like you're an executive and team coach. Like I didn't know I was gonna go here, but I really love that you said like what freedom really is. Like be powerful
Mm.
and free. Like for me, I'm like those that right there, like that's a distinction. Right. That's where I
True.
like you can find other executive and team coaches, but not all of them are trying to help you be powerful and to be free. And so like I'm really curious here. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm used to coming into the game of entrepreneurship, and people say like entrepreneurship is about being able to have freedom. Like I wanted more freedom in my life. I left the workplace, so I became more free, so on and so forth. But like, and then like you get into it, and you're like, oh wait, actually, I think I built myself a new job. Like I'm even less like I'm constantly thinking about this. So I'm like, so I understand that like freedom through the lens of the entrepreneur side, but I'm really curious about like how like freedom shows up for your clients and for you when it comes to like the executive coaching, the team coaching. We can get into the entrepreneur side too, but like there's something there where I don't know if freedom is as big of a brand in those two worlds, but I know that we are humans and we desire it. So very curious about how you integrate it.
Well, thank you so much for the question and that you are getting us into it. I mean, this is also something that I think it was inspiration when I kicked off on my professional coaching practice journey because I was surrounded with a lot of different types of leaders and leadership. And I was saying, come on, I was preparing myself to be leadership coach, and now I'm struggling what good leadership is or whether I even want to work with certain types of it. And I came down to it, this it's not just words, right, but power and freedom. And
Mhm.
what we do with it individually, with ourselves, in relationships, and then in teams like communities, units, and then bigger communities like you have, right? And when I work with clients all these years, it's so interesting how, in a way, it's easier to talk. First, they have the maybe demonstrate when they come to coaching that the problem is they are powerless, they feel powerless, or they don't have the power to change something, or there's a ceiling some way, in some shape or form, or they put themselves a limit how powerful they can be. But then when we work more in depth and using the methodology that I've developed and different tools and how I guide them through, it's really about what we've learned, how we use this power, and how we use our freedom with choices, decisions, actions, behaviors, interaction, and what's really possible. So when you ask, right, what's possible, and when they light up, right, do you really think I can do it? I think coaching is so powerful because at that moment in time, I just say, yeah, it's possible. Let's stay in, let's pause, let's go step by step, but possible, not possible. You're here and now you can create. And first, we need to tap into that potential, what it really means, right? To be powerful, to really what it means to be free. And then the majority of work is on the freedom part. Am I allowed
Mhm.
to do it? How I can do it? In certain relationship, we are afraid to speak up, to stand for ourselves, to stand for our desired future or vision that we envision. And we might also need to learn how to say goodbye or how to stay in when it's not so easy to stay in, when it's uncomfortable. So I would say a lot of muscles to be developed on the freedom part, but
Mm.
it's really cultivating the inner power and what to do with it, and it shows on the outside.
So Tanya, like I'm having lots of like feelings inside my body's responding to this here, like, and I can see myself like in the video, like I'm like super like intense on it because I think that what you're saying is not only true, but it's really there's a truth to it to me, and I'm really grateful that you're articulating this. And outliers, you probably feel this too, like there's a outliers edge. When you put it this way, it's all about power and freedom. I don't say it those words, but like it's like when you talked about the like I realized I'm like, oh, it's a freedom to be you and still be powerful. It's
Hmm.
a freedom to it's like and what I heard from you is like it's like let's tap into what makes you powerful in the world and then like then deal with all the reasons that you don't feel free enough to like exercise that power, you know?
Hmm.
And that was when I heard you say it, I'm like, oh, you get it. It's like because what's exciting to me about this part of the conversation, Tanya, is that you're not talking about leadership skills or executive presence. I'm sure that they show up in your methodology and in the work that comes in there. But people come in thinking that it's like, like almost like the surface level component of it. But there's
Yeah.
these deeper elements there where it's like, no, you actually have presence. You just don't feel free enough to go and show it. You like, and so I'll be curious for you, this is my response and reaction to what I'm hearing here. I feel like there's something special about you and the way that you're going about doing it, and I want to make sure that I'm articulating that like truthfully because there's a lot in what you're saying that I really believe in. Um, let's do some distinctions. Let's pull out some distinctions here for any outlier here. So distinctions to me is just like that level of mastery that says like two people might see the same thing, but the person with the higher level of mastery will be able to notice something different about it, right? The nuance
Yeah.
there. And so one of the distinctions I like to pull out is like what is something that your clients often come to you thinking that like it's the problem. Let's say it's a surface level symptom, but you're able to then like discern that like underneath it, there's like the deeper power, the deeper freedom, or whatever else is underneath it. So tell like I brought up the idea of like executive presence, like someone coming and be like, I need to work on my executive presence, right? And you being like, yes, but yes, and
Hmm.
can you give me an example or a few different examples of like when people come in
Yeah.
thinking it's one thing, but it's actually something deeper, and it might be actual client like stories, like bleach
Yeah.
it so that people we can talk about
I
it.
would
But
I would use several because I think it just shows the how unique we each are and how similar we each are,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And on top of that, it can come leadership or different professions,
mm,
and but it's self leadership for every one of us. It's self leadership, and I think being powerful and free, it's about self leadership first, and then how to develop further and interact. And for example, they come that they are aware that there are certain triggers in the environment, but they're unable to be successful with them. And it starts to either bother them or the consequences of their reaction behaviors and not being able to manage it well is just too big in certain extent. Either they lose temper, either they are not creating good environments for their co-workers, or they have trouble with working one member and they need that member in their team. So it seems like a blockage how to get to the next level as a leader, right? And within that, it's so much in it. And it could be so many different beliefs, different experiences. And usually what it comes out that it's hard to release for leaders, the more experience, the more successful, the higher up, to release the way that it's a certain way to achieve the desired outcome, success, and to just show up as human beings, and not necessarily call it vulnerable, but just, okay, let's just talk, right? Let's just communicate as human beings and let's see if really we have a problem, if there's a problem, or let me just be here, let me hear you what you're saying and what I'm not getting right. And let's then pick up our roles and move on, right? And work what we need to work on. And this is something I think it's through the coaching, it shows that they need to slow down and be in having me as a sounding board, having me as a mirror, having me as a guide, having me as someone who opens them out. Can you think it from different perspective? Can you go deeper? Do you have this experience somewhere else? And it's always somewhere else as well. It's not just one thing in the work environment. Then completely different example would be people who are very successful, I don't know, good citizens, like doing everything right in a way, the whole career. And there is something they miss passion, right? They miss that, they will miss that period in their life where they can still do something more passionately or doing something just for themselves. And it usually comes up with, can they do it? Or they allowed to do it? How others will perceive them? But they really, then when we dive in, they don't have the sense who they really are. Is this really important to them? How important, and why they are not living it, right? And what happens throughout the coaching is really that it's not black and white. It's not totally separated things. We just bring it out and find a space and find a way how to integrate it in certain ways through the life that they live in. Completely different. I often say two examples. One, very early on, and huge media executive, great in profession, but with one developed leadership style or executive style that often brings, I don't know, it's focused on the outcome, on the goal, and less on relationship. And this person is so beautiful, so, I don't know, taking care of everyone. But when that moment starts, right, it's just tunnel vision, it's just execution. We need to go to the. So it's really how to slow them down, how to, in a way, make them feel safe that they won't lose that edge. They won't lose that what they are good at, but there are other ways they need to develop as well, right? Other leadership styles, other tools they can use, other approaches they can use. And it might take time. Role playing, case playing, same by same, but usually it's just those who care a lot, who care for the human beings, who are the rightly leaders, team members who really care for them, but just don't know better ways. And they care enough to learn better ways and acknowledge that they might be in a way, right, for their team, and they just want to do it better. And the other is entrepreneur who came to me through referral after 20 years being entrepreneur, putting everything in to build up that company, and he was burned out. And he came, okay, can you help me? I said, I don't know, right? But first he got medical support in a way, how he can go through also some of challenging moments in his life. But then we made a plan and now, and work through it a lot, right? But now he has 3 companies, right? Also those that he's really passionate about. He just needed some help, some breakout moment, and figured out how to do the transition and getting the right help in, right support system. So completely different, I would say, but within all of them, there's power and freedom and what to do with it, and really personalized approach. And they call it like, that's my biggest mountain, right, in our country. That's this not just this mountain, but it's like Mount Everest, right? So they
Yeah.
use metaphors, they compare what they've achieved, what's now possible, or they say, you gave me life back. I mean, it's not me, right? It's just us working with it, but they do feel that they got relationships back, or they get well-being in the relationship, health. But it's linked to the freedom, what they do with everything they have and what's offered to them.
I love you and thank you here. There's why am I saying thank you to you? So I'm saying thank you for a couple different reasons. One, thank you for the work that you do. All right. Two, thank you for like highlighting like the realness of like the work that is getting done. I realized as you were saying, I was talking to you earlier about like leadership skills versus like being a leader. And I noticed that it's like executive coach. It's not execution coach, right?
Mm.
Two different things, right? You're like I am a coach for executives, because the problems that executives have is not necessarily what most people might think that it is. Not how do you do your job better in like directly. It's like,
Mm.
however, everything you work on for an executive helps them do their job better. Like, I don't know, I've worked with a lot of people where like the job is great, but like I'm respected in the office, so on and so forth, but I go home and like my 14-year-old daughter doesn't want to even look at me, you know? And it's like, and that then comes back and impacts the work that they do there because the relationship at home is strained or whatever it is, right? And so what I see for you is that you get to the underlying components through the vehicles of coaching power and freedom, but you're really coaching the person that's there,
Mm.
not just the role that is there. Let me just check in with you. There's some other things I want to say based on what you said, but I want to check in. Does that feel accurate? Like let me put
Yeah,
words in
that's
your
just
mouth.
very accurate. I think
Uh,
it's even the one we all, I mean, coaching or different types of it, and also how we approach it as coaches. But with me, yes, I also get referrals that they want to leaders, right? I mean,
mhm,
top executives or whoever, right, wants to just something good for themselves and those that they have in their environment, but they want to feel human being and they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to embrace all of that, but sometimes we don't even know what it is. So I would
mhm.
say it's let's say articulate together with them what it
Yeah.
is, right, for
I call
them.
that like co-creation, right? Like
Yeah,
people ask me like they're like, tell me about your coach. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm a coach as much as I'm a co-creator. Like what is it that
wonderful.
we want to
Yeah,
create in life? And let's do
yeah,
it together. Like most people are on an island. You don't have to be, you know, or
right.
you're inside your office and people see you here and you're like, yes, I have to make the executive decisions, but like there's a loneliness that's involved with it.
Mm,
And also a pressure of responsibility that comes with it. And it's like how do you manage that? And not have to manage it alone in an environment where you may not feel like you have the space to actually like be free to make mistakes or to toss things out, like so on and so forth. So I really feel you as a co-creator. You're like, what are we trying to create?
mhm.
And it's not just about what we do externally, but it's like do you feel empowered enough to actually go for it? Because you have the skills. You got to this point in your life. Like if you could get here, there's no reason you can't get to the next thing unless you yourself aren't letting yourself get there.
Sorry to jump in, but there's
Yeah.
also the second facet of it, right? It's how much power and freedom we allow the other. So
Aha.
that's a big part of my work and my personal, right, exploration,
Mhm.
transformation. But then also I can then help people with it, and it really show up in relationships, different, right, kinds of it, and how we communicate with each other, how we show respect and appreciation towards each other, and how we actually create teams and how we show up in our teams. And you touched so many points on this, but here's another shifter, huge one, right? Because we see everything through our own lenses, even if we're super, I don't know, not just evolved, but also skillful, right? As
Mhm.
coaches are very skillful in that, but we still sometimes might see our reality, our own perspective, and working with teams and executives who needs, I mean, they're there for people. If there's no team, we don't need an executive.
Yeah.
So it's really combined who are the stakeholders in it and what's the roles and how they create this ecosystem. And I always say that the leader sets the tone, the standard, and sometimes they're not aware what they're doing, right? With
Yeah.
good intentions, with good, I don't know, awareness. This is what I want to stand for. And some people would say rationally, you do. We trust you, we respect you, we do this, but that's more to it, right? We are also human beings with all the flaws, and we every day it's not the same, and we each have different path, and also different things happen to us in personal lives. So what I've seen different in my previous role when I was more in leadership and in huge governmental structure, as a leader, you sometimes don't see, not that you don't see the human being, but you don't have all this information that you have as a coach, right? So you see from different
Mhm.
perspective, leaders and team members, executives, professionals as human beings. And I just encourage everyone to learn also to be a coach, as a leader, also as a coach, or gain some coaching skills, because you get different lenses, different perspectives, how you see human beings. And I think for to me, it just brought more compassion towards each other. How to create bigger space for all of us. We might not agree, so there needs to be more space that we can all sit together and feel comfortable with for a certain period of time. But through that, it's a lot of courage, really, right? Who's around the table, who stays in, that takes courage. Who's willing to learn and grow, who's willing to hear and listen and do something about it. It's again courage, but with a lot of compassion, I would say. So there's another layer, which is the second part and third. But that's leaders, that's the role for them. And it's really how much power and freedom they give to the others. And usually this is a huge breakthroughs moments and I would say phases in our process together.
So outliers, thank you so much for that, Tanya. I'm gonna talk to outliers here for a bit. Outliers, I want you to just spend a little bit of attention here to like not just like what Tanya's saying, but who she's being as she's saying it. Right. One of the things I really appreciate about you, Tanya, is your alignment. Like I see that like you've leaned into your power. You're free in every single moment, like to just like be in response to the conversation, to dance with the conversation in different ways, while still being like grounded in what makes you powerful. And one of the things I appreciate about you is that you walk your talk. You like, and that alignment I think is just like it's just really in this day and age where we have access to chat GPTs and like AIs and we can ask different questions and we have other people around. There's and we're always constantly being marketed to and so on and so forth. I think that one of the biggest differentiators out there is, do I trust you? Can I trust you? Not just
Yeah.
like have the information, right? Because that used to be the thing. Do you have the information? But now it's like, I know, can I actually trust you to help me be the person to help me do the things that I know I could do, but I'm not. And
Mhm.
what I get about you, Tanya, is that like you talked about sincerity. You talk about being honest with yourself. Like you're really genuine in it. You talked about being able uh, to create to help leaders be able to just put down the roles for a bit and like just talk as human beings and then go back and go, okay, let's bring the role back in, but let's do it. And it's not to be vulnerable, but I actually like when you talked about it, I realized the vulnerability, when I thought about vulnerability, it was like it wasn't to like expose yourself and make yourself weaker or have like a kind of like a less powerful conversation, but it was actually like such an evolution in the leadership skills that like you could bypass all of the frameworks and like like the sandwiches that you're supposed to be when you're delivering feedback and all those things. Like you can get rid of all those tools and frameworks and stuff and like level up to a level of mastery in your leadership such that you can just have a real human to human conversation and then go off and choose something from that. I didn't it was really cool experiencing it with you because I'm like, Ton, you're at that level of mastery that you're on the other side of what most people spend their time trying to like teach or train or everything. You're on the other side. Like when you have all that, how do you make it integrated within you?
I mean, you're summing up so nicely, right? So thank
Yeah,
you
yeah,
for
yeah,
demonstrating
yeah.
also that I would say it's just
And
we are on
don't feel
different.
like you need to respond to that. Like I'm
No,
just in
no, I would
response to
just say
you.
we're all needed, right? I would
Yeah,
just say I think it's so important to get to know yourself, right?
yeah.
To accept who you are. I mean, my background, I'm a lawyer from the background. Then I've studied a lot, being an expert in public policy because I was so long in it, right? Then studied further and now being a coach and working with leaders. I think it's just you then choose. We don't have to do everything, but everything we've experienced and learned, I think it's great also to personalize it in certain way, and it needs to make sense to us and those that we serve
Mhm.
in different
Yeah.
capacity. And what you shared, I've learned through, I don't know, I've learned how to learn through different experiences. Also,
Mhm.
those leaders that I wouldn't follow, I maybe might be connected with them formally in the past, but they taught me very important lessons, right? And I think what you mentioned also, this human to human connection, what I believe it so much is because through that we also share our experiences as stories, which is super powerful too, metaphors. So people say, I don't even know how to express it. And then they say, I feel like a mountain is ahead of me, right? So, and everyone
Mhm.
can connect with that. That's universal language, right? We might say it in different contexts, but we also have something outside that we can talk and not I don't know, personalize it too much. We're not so different in the problems. We're more different what we do with it and how we approach it.
Mm.
And one lady that I work with, we were put together formally, right? So she didn't choose me to work closely with her. I didn't choose her. It just we needed to work together. And for me, I was trained to learn how to work with different people I never met with, but then we needed to be successful with. But there was a time we both know we're not really good fits. But she said, because she was higher up in the power, and she said, now we're going to sit down like two mature women. Maybe some would disagree. Everyone thought that we're going to be super friends and great workers together. We both knew we were separate ways. But she said something. So we are very different generations. We speak different language. But she said, where I come from, we first put the painting from the wood down, right? We scrub it down. Then we secure the wood. So it's safe, it's healthy. And then we paint it with new color. And I said, I think she opened that. So in a way, that's very authentic how she showed up. And I say, that's something the most, I don't know, wise that you share in all this time that we had together. Okay, let's sit down, let's talk. And she said, yes, I'm going to say what bothers me. You're going to say what bothers you. Let's talk. And we had conversation. It was like freeing. But I often recall this because it was metaphor she used, a story she used, experience she used, and she believed in. And I might refuse to experience this, but I said, okay, I'm in. Let's do it. Right. And it was good for both of us, I believe. But then it was not so great continuation of it because it was a lot of, I don't know, just different approach how we use power, formal power. But nevertheless, it was great experience. But I think this human to human, she offered that and I accepted it. And many others would use more, I don't know, diplomatic way to
Mhm.
communicate. I might never pinpoint it, what was off or what's in between and how we move on. But that's also good, right? I mean, we need to accept what people are willing to do because we are both sides responsible what we create with it. But through that, I would say I learned a lot from mentors, teachers, so everyone that I encounter, and also clients. I mentioned few how I was able to help them, but they're my dear people. Really, they help me out when I need help. So I think it just creates a deeper bond, and it's for life
I
when
love
you
that.
save each other to a certain extent, and they also help me. And it's always I gain so much from this as they do, right? So it's not that I give more. I would say. I mean, I hope I give
Yeah,
a lot,
like
but I
it's.
think it's mutually beneficial.
I mean, this is why I come back to like you're constantly growing, right? Like I don't think I have found that my clients, if I'm not growing, it's not a good relationship, right? If you're not
Mm,
being challenged, like it's like that, then don't then you're just training, like you're just kind of like showing up in there and you're going through the motions. But what I hear is that like both of you, like you embrace situations that allow you to grow while helping
mm,
other people, right? And we're gonna start wrapping up our conversation here, but I want to pull out some things and capture some things. And I think that like any outlier that's listening, like as Tanya was sharing this story, notice that this was also a demonstration of how she like handles conflict and like and like how you can bring things to Tanya, right? Like what I'm hearing here is like the relationship wasn't going well. Like you're both there to try and get the results. And then when there was when there was a place for confrontation to confront it, not each other, but to confront the problem, you just gave us a wonderful example of like what it looks like to go through that with you, right? To be able to be in a space where like rather than you can grow with each other. And I think about that as distinctions. There's a lot of people who might be like, I'm right, I'm the coach, like this is why you hired me, so on and so forth. And instead you found room to like to really see like what was really there and approach it with from a powerful stance. And I just want to make sure like I want to make sure I'm capturing some of these things and outliers. As I'm reflecting it back to Tanya about like who I see her as and how I'm experiencing her. I'm also calling out the components of things where I want you to be looking at for yourself. Like, are you seeing this? So like these are like I'm pulling out different distinctions about how Tanya shows up for me. And I like I'm hoping that you can also use this to start to discern why you might feel someone is charismatic, or oh, I just trust this person, or so on and so forth. Like there's different things that are going on that are building along those paths. And I asked you, outliers, to think about for yourself, like how consistent, how congruent are you? What are you actually putting out into the world that speaks louder, almost shouts louder about who you actually are and what people get when they experience you, or they spend time with you, or they choose to work with you. Like, how are you being? What is your self leadership in the way that you're wielding your power and your freedom in a way that makes that abundantly clear? Because I think people actually get an experience of who you're going to be, and the results they're going to get from you, from just the way you say hello, the way you choose to like see. Like, I see you come with genuineness, with honesty, with curiosity, but knowing your power, and while also being free enough to say, I have room for yours. Let's go. Let's play
Mm.
with this. Let's dance. Let's see what get created. So, Tanya, I'm deeply appreciative of this year. I've very much enjoyed the conversation. We're gonna wrap up here, but I asked two questions to bring us to a close. All right. The big thing here is, like, let's put outliers over to the side. Actually, like, you've done a great job. I want to give you a chance to have what we call an outside. So I'm gonna make it three. So the outside is what's we work in the world of coaching, so there's a lot of insights. We'll get to that in a bit. But an outside is like, what's a message that you want to leave outliers with? What's something that if any outlier was listening and following this year, what's a message you want to leave them with? And then let us know how we can go deeper down the journey with you. So what's the best way for us to continue with you?
Mm. It's a beautiful question. Uh, I would like to leave you with to really sit with what the power means to you, what the freedom means to you, and the word needs you to be as powerful and as free as you need to be, to live your life, live your vision, live your purpose. And I believe that's our right and responsibility. So I leave you with that. And in between, I say we meet, we change, we impact each other. And it's really about both sides, what we create and what we give each other and how we do it. And I believe that how we show up and how we stay in, how we create, it's a huge differentiator of who we are as human beings,
Mm,
where on our journeys we are, and how we really come in to either just take, just give, just meet and go, or stay in and do something
mm,
valuable together. So I leave you with that. It's more a food for thought, inspiration, and in it, it's how to be empowered for the desired impact in any chosen situation. This is a program I'm developing all these 8 years. I'm on
yeah.
this journey professionally. And it's another thing also for you to think how you mentioned executive presence, right?
Mm,
But how really present you are daily or in certain situations. We cannot be 24/7, right? We cannot be all the time. But just think of, I don't know, three things this week that are important, how to really be there and how to be empowered for the desired impact. And there's a magic trick in it. You don't know me,
mm,
but you will see that it works. If you help someone that you care for to get empowered for the desired impact in certain situation, and you will be already a coach, you will be a mentor, you will be a confidant, you will be accountability partner, and then it will reflect back what you still can work on your own for yourself and for those that you
I
want
love
to
it. I love it
serve
there.
even more powerful for the further on.
So, Tanya, what's the way, if any outliers listening to this and they're like, I want Tanya in on my team, I want Tanya like by my side, I want to continue going deeper into her world. What's the way that we can do that?
Um, I mean, one way is group sessions, right?
How do they reach out? How
I
do they reach out to you? That's what I'm looking for. Where? How
Yeah,
do they
I
get in
mean, the
contact?
best way, LinkedIn, a lot there, right? So that's the fastest way to connect, and also you can
Mhm,
see some of the content.
mhm.
Otherwise, through Am I coming through? Okay.
Yeah.
The website I shared also the information, so it's just www.tanyabogataj.com. And there was some information about what I do, how I do it. It's about powerful and free. And there's also the powerful and free platform where in past years we collected several stories. I paused it for a minute because I went in last 3 years through huge transformation and re-identifying myself, repositioning. So, but it's open for those who would be inspired to share their power and leadership story. And that's also one way that we can connect through Be Powerful and Free.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, this has been an incredible conversation, Tanya. The way that we fully end the conversations, we put outliers to the side. You've given them an outsight. They know how they can go down the journey. They can follow you on LinkedIn. They can go all that place. This last question is for you and about you. All right. I only have conversations so that there can be the potential for it to be a life-changing conversation. So I'm curious for you, Tanya, what's an insight that you are leaving this conversation with, and what ways was this conversation important or impactful for you? And if the answer was it wasn't, or like there wasn't really anything there, that's totally fine. But do you want to leave space just in case there is something, like, again, we're always growing, so I'm curious about like how you're taking away from this conversation for yourself.
I would start with how we started, to acknowledge you. I think acknowledgement is such a beautiful skill if we know how to cultivate it and then share it with the world. To acknowledge something good and what we felt and how it made us secure, safe to be who we are and show up. And you did that for me together with your team, your Victoria. And that's kicked off, right? That I was able to be here and to show, and how you, in a way, guided us through. For me, also, you gave me the opportunity to reflect on my journey. In a way, embrace it. I'm doing this, as said, last 3 years. It was quite a rocky journey, but it embraced it. What Be Powerful and Free really brought to me, personally, professionally, and how I was able to show up in the world, serve people. And you did that, right, as a coach, guiding these conversations. So, and also making it natural that it's not coaching per se, and it's not just interview per se, but we created a space and shared experience and story. And I think this is additional value and assets that you're creating for the community, and definitely a gift for me, to me. So thank you so much. So at least that.
Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you for walking, and thank you for creating the experiences of life. Thank you for honestly like showing up in such a way that it sparked my curiosity in a way, like it called forth something for me. And I enjoy meeting and talking to people who understand their power and choose to wield it. It gives me a lot of space to use mine as well, because I'm like, oh, Tanya's not going to be knocked over. She's good. She doesn't worry about being resilient. She's resolute. And on that there, I just want to say thanks for showing up the way you do. Outliers, let's continue down the journey with Tanya. And until the next time we all talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.
Thank you so much.